Hello and welcome to Storytellers and Changemakers podcast. I'm your host, Eme Bassey, and today I have a lovely guest, a good friend, and a fantastic person. And I can't wait for you to meet her and hear from her. So I would like to introduce you to Toyin Ogunbanjo. She's the founder of Listening Ears Charity. And today we're here to talk to Toyin about the story of Listening Ears. And obviously that means also that's the story of Toyin Ogunbanjo. So can I just start by saying happy birthday?
Oh, thank
Happy
you so
birthday,
much.
Toyin. So you celebrated your birthday a few days ago,
Yeah, on Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay,
9.
so that 9th of November.
Yes.
So if you have any presents for I call her Sister T. If you have any present for Toyin, just send it to listening ears.
Actually, the presents, the presents I want, I've put on my status because I'm going to celebrate throughout November.
Oh
And
wow,
the present I want is just donations for my
for your charity.
elderly
We
people.
we went there right away, didn't we? Yeah, but anyway, let's what's interesting about your birthday and why I started by talking about your birthday is because you told me in that conversation that your birthday coincides with around the time when Listening Ears started, and that Listening Ears is 19 years. So, can you just continue the story from there? Let me not do all the
Okay.
talking. So,
Okay.
welcome, Toyin.
Thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because just about 10 days before I clocked 50, that's when listening has actually started. So listening here started October 30, 2006.
Wow,
And on November 9, 2006, I clocked
is
50.
when you, wow,
Yes.
what
So, and since then, thank God.
that kind of brings up so many questions.
Yes.
Like, what is it that will make a 50-year-old lady start a charity? 50 is almost like the time when you start winding down, not when you start a new adventure. So
Yeah.
I have to know why. What is it that
It's an interesting question, really, because for me, it's a calling. It's a calling which I have tried to run away from.
to negotiate yourself out of?
God bless you. That is the right word. Negotiable. Sometimes God's sense of humor is just something else. Sometimes He's happy to negotiate with us. He's such a loving Father.
Hmm.
And sometimes He just doesn't want to negotiate. In fact, sometimes He'll be looking at you and be smiling and be saying, keep on wasting your time when
You
when you
will
are
still
ready.
end up here.
Exactly. Yeah, so because at that time, and the reason why I said that, when I think about it now, I smile. But at that time, it wasn't funny, you know, because at that time, when God gave me the vision, because it was so clear, it was a very short, brief statement. He said, comfort to the hurting. So if he said comfort to the hurting, at that time, me, I wasn't only hurting, actually, I was bleeding, if I could say
Oh
that,
wow.
emotionally. I mean, the space where I was at that time,
Life.
I'm the last person to want to encourage anybody, if that makes
Because of
sense.
what you were going through at
Yes,
that
what
particular
I
time.
had in my plate. So I thought maybe God is making a mistake somewhere. Maybe He wanted to talk to somebody else, not me. But it was emphatic. I think the day I had comfort to the hurting, I put it somewhere in my diary. It was one day in August 2002. So my donor journey, it's now that we are talking that I thought about it. So that means it took me 4 years
four
of
years.
trying to run around and dodge. Because I remember it was an evening in August. It was a clear visitation I can never forget in my life. I just kept hearing comfort to the hurting, comfort to the hurting. Eventually, gradually, God kept showing me stuff, but You know what? I wasn't even ready to see what he was showing. Talk less of asking for understanding. So, but eventually,
So when you said at that period in your life, can you give us an idea, maybe without sharing too much and protecting the innocent and the guilty?
yeah, I was in a very bad place emotionally and psychologically. So, if anybody needed comfort at that time, it was me.
It was
If anybody was hurting, it was me. So you can now imagine that irony,
isn't that
I will
isn't
call
that
it,
the
when
isn't
you
that
are now told to come
the
and comfort somebody
irony of
else.
how isn't that the irony of how God deals with
Yes. He
the
uses foolish
his
things to confound the wise.
mm,
So I kept struggling, saying that I wasn't qualified in his own ways, that he's the only one who can explain what he does or make people understand or work it out or make you see that he doesn't make mistakes. You know, in the course of all that running around, somehow I found myself in an opportunity that I had to go and study for counseling, Christian counseling. So it was funny. I dodged from that. Although, ironically, I have always loved supporting people all along.
mm,
In fact, in my earlier years, when I was back in Nigeria, I don't know if you remember this magazine called Spear Magazine. You know, at the
yes I
back
do.
of it, there is a problem page that is
Eh,
said, Their Comfort. I, I was the comfort for many years.
oh way. I should
I
tell
was.
my husband
I
because
was the
he
comfort.
will probably know. You were like an agony aunt, as they
Yes,
say.
I was the agony aunt. So I've always loved to support people,
Wow.
you
Wow.
know.
That's interesting.
So that's why it is funny why God now said, because I was doing that, just generally. I don't even know where the wisdom came from then. Just know that when people write in their letters, when I'm answering it, it's after when I've finished all my scripts that I'm wondering, why did I get
Where
that from?
from?
So even when we are not yet called, God is already calling,
Yeah.
already equipping. It is now that we are talking that I am now
Mhm.
relating the dear comfort days to listening ears calling. I've never thought
No
about
way.
it from that
Really?
perspective. Seriously.
And the funny thing is I just said to myself, I said, how come that is not part of your, it should be on your
It,
About Me page on your
it,
website.
it's now that,
It is,
although I've,
it's
I've
part of
always
your
mentioned
story.
it, but I always mention it when there is need for. But I have
Mm.
connected it to think, hold on, actually, God has been speaking to you a long time before you even realized it. It's now as we speak that I'm connecting the dots. So at that time, made a way. I went for the training, qualified as a counselor. I was supposed to pay some money. I didn't have money. Somebody gave me some scholarship for it. So I
Mm-hmm.
did all that. And it was like, what next? What's your remaining excuse? Sure, you understand that kind of stuff. So
But it's still, you're forming a charity. That's
yeah.
not a small, that's,
So eventually, I now surrendered on that fateful day, 2006, and then decided to start
putting your energy now.
yes, so we started with one small hall there. We rent it for the 2, 3 hours. That time, things were still so cheap and what have you. I think we were paying £10 per session for the hall. So I always just take that money from my little earnings. Then sometimes I find one or two friends who will chip in £10, £20, so we can at least pay for the whole, buy biscuits and make tea. And in several days, I didn't see anybody. I'll go there, I'll sit down. I will,
Okay, so you put the word out there to say
yes, I did
this
one
is
little, I saw a revelation of how to do the leaflet. I did it. Things looked like a road sign of road ahead closed. That was the very
mm,
first card I did and leaflet. So, and we put that out until one day, several weeks after, when the very first lady walked in and said, "Hello, good morning. Is this the place where people come when they are miserable?" That was
Yeah.
her word. That was her
Oh.
word. I'll never forget that lady's statement. So I said, how can I help you? She said, "Oh, you just want somebody to talk to."
Mm.
So that to come in and made her a cup of tea. And we started chatting. And the rest, like they say, is history.
Because
Yeah.
what you do is such a simple, uncomplicated service, but you put so much energy into it and so much faithfulness as well. Tell us about your Feel Good Fridays.
Okay. Before I even talk about the feel good, one of the experiences I had that made me now completely surrender. After the charity started, we started as a company limited by guarantee, and then we kept on before we eventually, many years into the project, before we became a charity. But the day I actually completely surrendered was a day that I went across to the post office on one of the major routes in Abbeywood, and I went to maybe post some letter or register a parcel or something. And while I was going into the post office, I noticed an elderly woman on the side of the road. She had her shopping trolley. She would probably be in her 80s because she was quite elderly. But then I went into the post office, must have spent at least about 20 minutes there,
Mm.
came back outside and saw the
And she
woman
was
was
still
still there.
there.
And she was looking lost. At that time, I think I'd already completed my counseling training. And one of the
Mm.
things they teach you is about body language. So that when a client is sitting before you, you will not only hear what they are saying,
The
you
body
will hear
language.
what they are not actually saying, even what their eyes are saying without them knowing. So when I saw that woman, I knew something was wrong.
Mm.
And I think I won't say my instinct, the Spirit of God just told me to speak to her. And I just said, hello, can I help you? And she was like, she wants to cross the road and the vehicles were not going to stop.
Mm.
So I now said, okay, do you want me to walk you across the road? Oh, she said she would be grateful for that. So I took her shopping bag, which she was scared at first because she doesn't know whether I want to run away with it
Mm.
or not. And then took her hand with my other hand and took her across the road. When we got to the other side of the road, I felt like giving her a hug. And I
Mm.
now asked her, can I give you a hug? She didn't even let me finish before she swung her arms around me.
Oh.
I, I held her, I hugged her, and she wouldn't let go.
Hmm.
By the time she did, she was crying.
Hmm.
I asked what was wrong. She said she doesn't remember when last she has been hugged. So, and I was asking her, I said, were you doing at that side of the road? She said, usually she stayed on the bus to its terminus,
Mm.
stayed on the bus
And
for the
then
bus to turn around so that it can be on her own side of the road. But that particular day, she had to do something on that side. So she got down.
so, so that's why she couldn't cross.
Yeah, she said that she
She
didn't want
was
to
not
be run.
used to crossing the road.
And I thought that's what you see in the community. The loneliness, the
Mm.
isolation, they just need someone. So that's when the calling was kind of reaffirmed to me. And I thought,
Mm.
you know what? I am struggling no more. I just let go and let God. And he took it off from there. Shortly after that, we started to get some funding.
I think there's always that point where you make a commitment. It's almost like you step over the line. Okay, this
Yeah.
is point of no return. I've said yes to this thing.
Mm.
I'm going all in.
Yeah.
That's amazing because you are celebrating 19 years now,
Yeah.
and I'm sure for you it's probably like yesterday when you started, and at the same
Like
time
yes,
it's still like a lifetime
it's still
as
like
well.
yesterday because these days when I see the girls from our girls project, the Rosebud Center.
Mm.
In fact, day before yesterday, one lady came there and she's the mother to one of our previous Rosebud girls. So I was asking about that girl. The girl was so tiny. And she told me, Tony, can you believe my daughter is 20 now, that she's in the final year of university? I said, seriously?
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. So a lot
So,
of these girls that we mentored, many of them are graduates. Name the profession. They are in different fields and vocations. In fact, two of them are already on our board of trustees. Both of
so
them have
probably started
masters.
when they were 7, 8 years old.
Yes, both of them have their masters. One of them is even doing her research, maybe for her doctorate and all that now. So
That's
when
amazing.
one looks at all that, the difference that God has made in the lives of people and families, it's incredible, and it's worth praising God for. Yeah. So coming to your question of the Feel Good project is the project we run for, which is one of our many projects. But it's a project we run specifically for older people to reduce isolation. We started that actually in partnership with the NHS. At that time, I was a health trainer with the NHS, and I was volunteering for them because I was running listening ears as well.
Mm.
So they were like, how can we reward you, Tony? Think about a project you want to do so that we can support you. And of course, because I'm passionate about wellness. So we thought about how can we practically support people with this isolation thing. And then
Mm.
we started to do some research, found out that the isolation is much more prevalent among the over 50s because they are either retiring or already retired, or they have this issue or that issue.
Mm.
Anyway, the isolation was so thick you could touch it. You could actually
Wow.
cut through it. So we decided to start something around that area. And I spoke with my manager then at the NHS that this is what I would like for listening ears. And they said, okay, they're happy to support. So we started putting pen on paper and all that. And in the process, when we were looking for what name to call the project, call it Feel Good. So, so that's how we started. We actually called it Feel Good Friday at the beginning because the
Yes,
process was happening only on
that's what I
Friday.
remember. That's
Yes.
what I
But
remember about
eventually, when God started to expand the vision of that Feel Good, I saw that it was something God was calling us to establish in different areas because isolation is everywhere. So we decided to
it's
remove the Friday and just called it Feel Good Center.
so people come in there
So
to
they
connect
do
with one another.
exercise, they do
Okay.
an hour exercise because we
Mm.
encourage them to be physically active,
Mm-hmm.
help their health, to help their cardiovascular well being,
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that. And then after that, they have their refreshments, they socialize, play games, chat, gossip, do all sorts of whatever. Then, yeah, then we take them to the seaside every year. We hire a coach. We usually hire about 53-seater coach and it's always full. But some years we drop some people who don't make up their mind in time. When they go in the morning, they have a nice time, come back in the evening. Annually, we throw a lavish Christmas party for them. And this year now, my birthday, I'm using it to fundraise for their Christmas party. So then every month, we have what we call a birthday buffet. So all those who are born within
Who
that
have
month,
birthdays in that
we
month.
celebrate them. It will be a hot buffet. There'll be jollof rice, chicken, all sorts of food. They always look forward to that.
That's birthday it
Yes, you
is.
buy one cake, all of them will cut it and
Mm.
take photographs. Can you believe that for some of them, for that birthday, we are the only one who wishes them happy birthday? Because some of them are
Hmm.
so isolated, they have nobody. Some of them. I mean, I know one of the service users is already in his 80s now. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have any child. It's just him. And there are some like that. So
And I really wanted you to tell us more about loneliness and isolation. I think I read somewhere that is one of the top, like where they have heart disease and
in
cancers and
fact,
yes,
the latest research now says that isolation kills 4 times more than cigarette smoking.
yeah,
And you know how dangerous cigarette smoking is with lung diseases, lung cancer. But isolation now kills 4 times more than that, which is terrible because the moment people are isolated, all sorts of problems set in.
Hmm.
Depression, they will be overweight because when people are isolated, they comfort eat.
Yes.
Their fridge is
I
their
mean,
friend.
sometimes when I see some elderly people in the shops and I see them with sweets and biscuits and things in their shopping
Yeah,
basket, I'm
because
like, you know,
when people eat
and
sugar, it makes them feel high. So
mm,
that's why I say
that
they
kind of makes
comfort
sense
eat.
now.
They
That
just
makes
do whatever, then
sense.
they will probably have some cardiovascular issues. They will not be physically active because they will just be sleeping.
It's not
It's
just that.
terrible.
It's also about the connection with people.
Yeah,
Connection with people, it adds to our health.
yeah.
Whatever we want to say about it,
So
connection to one another,
it's
being
really
around
common.
people, it all adds to the health of people. I mean, like I'm working with charities and I'm encouraging them to have friends champions group, like your partners or your sponsors and that kind of thing, but really, I keep saying that it's not that you're not doing it for yourself, the charity. You're actually doing a service for the people because you're helping people to connect to one another. That
Yeah,
connection is something that, people need now more than ever, to have a
same.
place where you belong, feel connected to something that is beyond yourself. It really, I mean, look at you now. You are celebrating your birthday, which only if you want to say the age, but you look at
Yeah, I'm
least
I'm happy
15,
that
20 years younger than your actual age.
I mean
And
on
that's true.
Sunday
And
on
I'm not the
Sunday
first, I'm sure I'm not the first to say it. Am I the first to say it?
no,
uh
because on
So I'm
Sunday
not flattering you.
on Sunday I clocked 69 because remember I said I was 50 when the vision started, and if
Mm,
it's 19 years now. So on Sunday, by His grace, I'm grateful to God because I don't feel 69. I don't feel it. I
mm,
don't look
uh-uh.
it. And
No, you don't feel it. You don't look it.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
thank God for His grace, really. I really, really thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking that for granted at all. Yeah.
I wanted you to tell us some stories of some miracles
Okay.
and mistakes
Okay.
and
In terms
struggles.
of
Yeah.
miracles, in fact, today's program will not be sufficient because God has been faithful. God has been awesome. I mean, in terms of miracles, the first miracle we got for listeners was because, when we started, it was little bit money I have, friends who will give me money, £10 there,
Mm,
£20 there, and all that. So we had no funding. But because I've always believed in giving and in serving, so I was serving on what they called neighborhood renewal forum or something, where people are there on that particular committee to look at their community and talking about their problems,
mm,
take their problems to the council or to the MPs or whatever. So I put myself forward on that particular group. And then, not because I will get anything out of it. That particular year, the group always have some vote or funding to do little things in the community. So the group had an underspend that year,
mm,
and they didn't
mm.
want to return the
Those are
underspend
the,
to the government. So they now said, we just had that meeting that day. And part of the agenda was talking about the underspend. So they said they would decide to give it to one of us. So the four of us, they told us to go out so that they could vote.
both.
Yeah. None of us knew that was coming. So they caught all of us unawares. So the four of us went out, and after about 10 minutes, they called us back inside. And then they now said, well, we have deliberated and we have decided which of you we are going to give the underspend to. And the underspend goes to your group. I said, no.
Wow.
So that was the first money we got. I think it was 800 and something pound. It looked like 8 million because we had never seen funding before.
Oh,
So we got, I think it's 780. So they gave us that money People wanted to volunteer. People, a lot of, thank God for volunteers, but sometimes it's good to have incentive to give people for doing something.
Mm,
And the
mm.
minimum you can do for your volunteers is to pay their transport. I didn't even have money to pay my own transport, talk less of paying transport to volunteers. So when we got that funding, I said, come, if you volunteer, we'll pay for your transport. So they were happy to come because
Yeah.
people can't come and volunteer for you and then they are paying their way again.
Okay.
So we did all the core things or expenses. It was a huge motivation. So that was our first miracle. From then, we had all the confidence to start applying for different fundings and all that. That's one of the miracles. Then the feel good, there was another one. We had this funding from one of the trusts, and usually they fund a charity once. So they funded us for 18 months. We did the project, and because from the word go, integrity has been my watchword. So
Mm.
when we get any kind of funding, I'm just on point with how we will make sure we're accountable. Every penny is spent judiciously and our reports are spot on. That particular year, I think we clocked 10 years or so. So these particular funders, we invited them to our Christmas party and 10th year anniversary. They sent about 3 of their trustees to attend. When they came, I didn't know they were busy interviewing the service users
Oh,
one by
wow.
one, discreetly. If they saw I was coming, they would pretend as if they are just chatting. So they did all their underground survey during that
Mm.
party. And then when they were leaving, one of them now said, "Oh, thank you so much. We've really enjoyed ourselves today. You know what? Come back to knock our door." And
I
I
thought they
thought,
said they only give.
yes, I thought they said they only give. I said, come back to knock our door.
Wow.
And then oh my goodness. Then told the trustees, and then we started putting together another application proposal to them. Can you believe that they now gave us funding for another 2 years? You
That's
won't believe it.
amazing. That's
So
amazing.
that's another testimony.
Because that's usually one of the constraints of getting funding. You're
What did
the
you say?
I said that's amazing because that's one of the constraints of
Yeah,
getting funding.
yes,
After some time the funding will expire, then
exactly.
you now
So
start looking for where to find funding.
then we had another
That's an
massive
amazing.
testimony, which also up to now is still blowing my mind. That day were just in the office, and this strange phone call came in, and the person said, "Is that listening?" Yes. I said, "Yes. How can I help you?" The lady said, "If I gave your charity £1,000, what will it mean to you? What will you do with it?" And
Mm.
I went on, "Oh, we'll do this, we'll do that, blah, blah, blah." The lady said, "Oh, what if I made it 2005? What will you do?" Then I went on, and then she said, "What if I made it 5 or 10?" And I thought, "Excuse me, who is speaking?" Then she now said, "Well, you don't know me. My name is blah, 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 but I've just been co-opted into the charity committee in my workplace. And we are looking for charities that we are going to support. But I'm passionate about small charities that are doing big things." And she said, and I went online. I don't even remember what
I
she
love
said.
that.
She typed into Google and several millions of things came up. And she said that she was looking, she saw listening ears. She said she thought to herself, would there be ears that don't listen? How can these people say they are listening ears? And she clicked on it. And it took her to our video that we recorded for our 10-year anniversary. It was a
Mm.
37-minute video. That many people had told me, this video is too long. People won't look at it. The lady said she sat through every second of the video
From the beginning to the end.
from the beginning to the end. And that's when
Wow.
she picked up the phone to call us. In any case, so she
Hmm.
said,
So
so
she started
please,
with 1,000. If we give you 1,000,
yeah.
what
But
would it mean?
she now said, you know what? And you have only 48 hours. Send us a proposal. Tell us what you do with 1,000, with 2,005, with 5,000, and with 10,000. So we dropped every other thing in the office that day. And we concentrated on writing that proposal. And we sent it to them. 2 or so weeks after, they physically came to visit us at the feel good session.
Mm.
So They went around, spoke to the service users, interviewed me and all that. Then four of their managers came and their accountant. And then they went back. And I think a week or two after, they just sent us £5,000 in our account. And at that time, we didn't have funding to run Feel Good.
Hmm.
So we decided to squeeze that and use it to run for another year.
To squeeze everything out
I'm
of that
telling you. The
£5,000.
interesting thing is when we now finished the 5,000 and we wrote our report, the lady said their boss asked her, how much did we give that charity? Was it
Hmm.
50,000? She said, no, we gave them five. And they achieved this? Give them another five this year. So following year, they gave us another 5,000. And then
Wow.
after that, they now said, Toyin, that day we were talking to you in your office. You know, they said, I just love your passion. I thought you said you had a dream you wanted a mini bus for your charity. I said, yes. He said, do you still want it? I said, of course. He said, come and knock our door. And then that's how they bought us a mini bus.
I'm
So
just saying, wow. I
the,
don't
the
know what kind of
testimony,
interviewer I am. I'm just like, wow, wow,
the testimonies are
wow.
this. Another spectacular thing that company did. They followed us to one of the seaside trips for the year, three of their managers. And then when we got there, they now asked me, Tony, what would you like for these your older people? I said, when we brought them last year, many of them wanted to eat fish and chips. You know, at the seaside, the fish is fresh. I said, but they couldn't afford it. They said, okay, go and look for one of the cafes. And we took
Mm.
44 people to the seaside. So I went to look for one cheap one that we can. Then when I told the manager, I said, I found one place. Then he got there. I said, why are we going to sit here? What about that one overlooking the sea? I said, they are expensive. A plate of their fish and chips is about 20 something pounds. This one is about 7 or 8 pounds or so. He said, let's go to the other place. And he took us to that expensive place. And when we got there, he told everybody, why would you serve all of them drinks? He told, we were asking people, do you want Coke? Do you want this? Do you want that? And then they served everybody fish and chips with each plate almost 20 something pounds. And as if that was not enough, when everybody finished eating, do you guys want ice cream? And the other people couldn't wait to say yes, yes, let's
Uh,
go. And then they took us to ice cream parlor. It was everybody take whatever kind of ice cream you want.
that's what I
And
wanted
they,
to ask you.
and they
What I
just
want,
took
I
the
want
food.
to, I want to hear about listening ears from the side of the service users. What would their lives have looked like if there was no listening ears?
In fact, do you know what? I don't even want to imagine it. Because like I told you, for some of these people, in fact, there was somebody who did a write-up on listening as I was saying, these people wouldn't have been able to continue life. I think it was one reference that we got when we needed a reference from one of the halls that we were in. The
Like a
hall where we
testimonial.
started, the
Mm.
hall where we started, the reference that that lady wrote was that without this organization, some people will have not been able to live. I don't remember how she coined it, you know. So for some of them, we are the only family they have. And the way they look forward to coming to those sessions is unbelievable. And I'll tell you why I think so. On a particular day, many years back, it snowed. I think it's
Mm.
night. So in the morning was a Friday, and I thought, who is going to come out in this snow? I said,
Hmm.
I don't think I will go out today to this feel good. But the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me say, no, get up. Reluctantly, I went. When I got there, if you saw the attendants that day with their walking stick, picking their feet in the snow,
Not just one or two people.
no, that day we had the greatest number in that period of attendants because we had to go to get extra milk for tea. It was unbelievable. So I was thinking, what if I didn't listen? Can you imagine them getting there and seeing that the door is locked
Mm.
when they would have felt, outside
Because
of
you
me,
would just be thinking, oh, maybe they're not, they won't even
that they are
come.
not
That
going
kind
to
of.
come. So that shows you how they would have felt if we are not there for them. For many of them, offer them anything for that day, Monday and Friday. They say, no, I have somewhere I'm going. It's
Mm.
only if they have hospital appointment that they will take. And then when they have opportunity to talk about the difference that we are making, maybe during our Christmas parties, some of their
Mm.
testimonials are on our website. And then again, maybe when it is my birthday, things they put on the platform, it's unbelievable because that's another thing we did. We set up a WhatsApp group for them. So we called it Feel Good Interactions Group. So all of them
Mm.
are there, they change messages, the
And
little
all
things
those
that
kind
will
of
make
things. Yeah.
people, yes. So they
Yeah. Chat.
interact, yeah, because during COVID, we decided to teach all of them how to use the internet, how to use Zoom, how to use the phone. Yes, taught them online skills. So after that, we set up that group, and all of them were able to at least interact, send messages to their children, to their grandchildren. Some of them even are on Facebook.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
so which is great. So it's
My
making a
aunt,
huge
the things that you
difference.
were telling me made me think about my aunt. She lives in Denmark. She lives alone, and they have a lot of these kind of services. There's one she talks about a lot. She goes and she does crafts every Thursday. They pick them up in a bus. They go there. There's a group of them. People do different things when they go. That's what made
Oh,
me mention her. She's on Facebook. She's 85. 85. She will say to me, she said, because she's my mom's older sister by a year.
okay.
She said, Eme, tell your mother to go on the Facebook. And I'm like, Auntie, it is not the Facebook. It is Facebook. Mom should go on the Facebook. Why would she go on the Facebook? But it really opens the world up to her.
In fact, talking about from the service user's point, then coupled with testimony, there is, we had a service user who has now passed, but her daughter, I think, because of all the things that she had told her children and
Mm,
what they saw, because this is one of the things that we do again every year. We give them hampers and turkeys. We started to do that in partnership with New Wine many years, or maybe almost 10 years back. So 2 years ago, a lady that is the daughter of these service users that has passed
mm.
just called me. I think in her office, they wanted them to nominate charities. So she nominated listeners. She didn't even tell me because she said she wasn't sure if she will win it or not.
Mm,
But she
mm,
didn't tell me. Can you believe she went to our website, gleaned every information she needed, made presentation on behalf of listeners by herself without my knowledge? In fact, if I were told to present listeners, I probably wouldn't do a job as good as that. She did everything, did the slides with pictures, with everything, and presented it to her company. And then when she now won it, then she called me and said, Auntie, mom thinks so highly of you and of listening ears. And I want to see how I can make a difference. So in my company, blah, 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 then she told me the story. I couldn't close my mouth in shock. So she asked what they can do to help us. So I now told her that year, New Wine was going to give us 20 hampers and 20 turkeys.
mm.
But we had 50 people on the list. So she said, okay, how much is the remaining 30 going to cost? Then we decided to do quick, calculations and all that.
Calculation.
But going to buy by ourselves so that it can be affordable. And then she said the company will fix the 30 remaining ones. So that's how they
Wow.
paid for the remaining 30 hampers. That was 2 years back. Then, of course, we wrote our report and all that. She actually came to the party. And then last year, the 50 we gave, they paid for everything.
Wow. And that is from a service user
Who had already
family
passed.
who has already passed on.
And the
Wow.
children still feel
That's amazing.
they
That's
owe
amazing.
something to give back to listening ears because of what listening ears has given to their family.
Wow.
In fact, today,
Mm,
this fundraising just giving that we did, I just found one strange donor today, and the person just said, I will read it to you in the donor's words. He said, "Your presence and help in mine and my mother's life is the greatest donation. This is only a fraction of my gratitude. Happy birthday, I love you. And he donated £150.
Wow, wow.
So for me, this is a testimony. And it just
It must
shows,
bring a lot of fulfillment.
yeah,
But
it just shows
I don't
how,
think it can be easy doing what you do. And I know that you've also had some rough patches as well,
oh,
you know.
definitely.
So can you give us an example and what is it that kept you going? Really?
Well, one of the greatest frustrations I would say I've had is when you have to deal with human being with maybe one or two staff who may be really frustrating you.
Really?
Because yes, because I put my heart and my everything into this. And
Mm,
for me, I just believe that every every gift or every skill that God has given us, we should put it in service. That's my belief and my life. So, because of the kind of journey I had walked before I got here, because those long years ago, I used to be a secretary, then I became a journalist, I went into broadcasting, I became a counselor. So, all these things, all these skills and experience and knowledge that God gave me the opportunity to acquire, I pour everything into this thing here. So when we get a funding, I want to give a report that is commensurate with the gratitude I feel for them give, because it's not every charity who request for funding that gets it. When they just write shabby report, and if I had to point out, no, this we can should expand us, we should do that. They're like, oh, she's always too demanding. She wants us to. But me, I never settle for anything that is second best. So I will end up while they are sleeping in their house, I am rewriting the report.
oh,
So
Sister T.
I won't
So
pretend.
while they are sleeping in their houses.
Yeah, that wasn't a good experience at all. But
Mm, mm.
but I'm happy that I knew what to do. Because you see, if they wrote
It's the standards that you wanted to
Yeah,
keep.
if they wrote shabby reports and you don't get another funding, that's not their problem. But if I
For them,
rewrote
it's
the
just a
report,
job.
exactly. But for me, it's not a job. It's more than a job, it's a calling.
I love that, and I can imagine your frustration because these are your standards. For them, it's just a job. For you, it's a calling, it's a passion, and of course, you want to give a good account of the work that you're doing. I mean, it's that's how you think long term. That's why you've lasted for 19 years and
Exactly.
still going strong.
And you know,
You know,
in God's faithfulness, because it's important I add that, because when his own time came, in his infinite mercies, the lady God brought me, who
hmm,
manages to feel good now, she was dropped directly from the throne of grace,
from heaven.
practically. Because
They just plucked her from heaven and just say,
I'm telling you, the way she sold out to the vision is unbelievable. As a matter of fact, she opened
you see,
and
that makes such a difference. It's so fun. It's so funny, but it's
tired. You see, because
two people who I say, oh, I type 40 words a minute. This one type 40 words a minute. It doesn't, that's not where the thing is.
Eme, if God did not bring that lady when he brought her, I probably would have thrown in the towel. Because at that time, after COVID, there was no funding anywhere. It was difficult to survive. Big charities were folding up. But you see, this lady, I don't know what language, what adjective to use to describe her commitment. You know, she opened my eyes to even us doing some table sales to raise funds. She would she would buy things, we will sell it again. I started asking people to give us donations. She will bring her own. In fact, it's
I mean, it makes
unbelievable.
all the difference. When you're committed, it makes
Complete
all the
difference.
difference. It makes all the
So
difference.
I'm so grateful
I
to God.
remember one job where I worked and the people were just tired of me because you want the place to succeed. Every morning I'll come into work and I'll be like, I have just thought of something. I have an idea, you know. It's like, how can we do this better? You know, how can we how can we be better? Because it's always in my mind, if I see something, I'm like, this will work for us, or this will be good for us. It's you treat it as if it's your own. It's not like
Mm.
it's somebody else's thing.
So I'm
It
grateful.
makes all the difference.
But that
Thank God
makes
for
me
that.
to forget all those difficult times, to be honest.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you about, because this is something I've heard, but I've heard that a lot of um charity leaders, executives, CEOs, that they struggle a lot with burnout. Do you understand what I mean by burnout?
Yeah.
Can you explain why, or what?
I think there are quite a number
It
of
seems
things.
like getting quite prevalent. It's like maybe they are stretched more than
Yeah,
they.
I think there are so many parts to it. Number one, if people are in a job as opposed to
Mm,
being a calling, for me, that's a huge difference. Because if, as far as I'm concerned now, I'm not in a job, I'm in a calling, and I know my attitude about even when there are challenges is different because I know that he who has called me will sort me out, will make a provision. Number two, sometimes it's difficult to comment on why certain people have certain problems, but everybody
mm,
has different ways of managing situations. For example, personally, I have certain philosophies of life that I don't find usual with a lot of people. For example, I don't have high expectations from anybody.
mm.
Not that I don't desire, but I don't have high expectations. So that when people mess up, they can't catch me
As
unaware.
they are sure to, as they are sure to do.
They can't
Yeah.
catch me unawares.
Yeah, it's so funny. I remember when I was, my degree is in psychology, and I remember one of the things that they said was the cause of mental illness is unmet expectations.
See,
You
because
have
I
this
completely agree
expectation
with you.
either from life or from somebody or something. So you have this expectation and it's not met. There's now things about, bitterness, anger, depression, anxiety, all those kind of things.
In fact, because of that, there are certain things I have deleted from my own dictionary.
You're making me laugh.
Yeah, something like that word, you are supposed to. I've removed that
Hmm.
word from my dictionary because you already said supposed to, but the person didn't. So what's your problem? You
So
said you supposed.
what's the point of
Exactly. So why you are supposed to do
yeah, I
for
know, I
instance,
know, I know. There's a lot of, in fact, yeah,
for
I'll
instance,
ask
when
my
you
husband
do
now. There's a lot of quarrels that we have at home. My husband and I have at home. Many of them have something to do with supposed to, and I'm like, I'm not a mind reader. If you want me to do something, say it, and he too will say, I'm not a mind reader. If you want me to do something, tell me exactly. Don't say,
yeah,
oh, you're supposed to know that. I don't know. Don't tell me what I'm supposed to know or supposed to do. Yeah.
because for example now, if you are kind to somebody, the minimum you expect them to do, or the minimum they are supposed to do, is to be grateful. How many people do you support that are not grateful? Sometimes they even
Mm.
make you feel stupid. But if you didn't have much expectation of gratitude from them, if you did it because God led you to be nice and you are nice and you move on, it won't even bother you. But when you are saying, you can't even be grateful. Look at it. You can't even say simple
It's been
thank
3 days since I did that or said that thing, and since that 3 days, you have not even said hello. They didn't even call me. They didn't even say thank you.
you. She wouldn't have. She's supposed to have at least. So people manage circumstances and situations differently. And then again, one other biggie that I have found is the attitude of people to circumstances and situations. Because for me, life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you handle it. So a lot of times people create problems for themselves because of how they handle and manage the situations they find themselves.
Mm.
I mean, if you find yourself in a situation that is not favorable and you really can't do anything about it, why are you brooding and making noise and being miserable? look for solution and move on instead of saying, I wish this I had do you understand what I'm saying? So sometimes it's really difficult. And when all that happens, it tells on us, it tells on our health,
on the
it tells
health.
on our wellness.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. It affects you, your mind, your sleep, your
mm,
energy, so many things.
and then a lot of people are worried for tomorrow, whereas we should not use today's grace to manage tomorrow's problems.
I think when God said it, He kind of knew the kind of
Mm,
people we were, as well as knew what life really
mm.
looks like. You know, don't stress yourself about tomorrow. Just worry about today first. When tomorrow comes, you worry about that one too. Why will you give yourself today and tomorrow's worry
Mhm,
all in one day? You still come to the tomorrow and continue it anyway. Sister T,
mhm.
we could talk and talk all evening.
I
I
know.
just want to ask you a couple of questions so that we can call it a nice. I made a note here. That's what I'm looking at. One, how to keep going when you feel like stopping. That's your question. And then after that, tell us how to support you and support listening ears and thereby support people who are struggling with isolation and loneliness in the UK.
Okay. How to keep going? It's a very challenging question to answer because one has got to settle the vision clearly. Because if you have the vision, it will continue to drive you and you will be able to find the challenges as bus stops as opposed to the destination. So it's a kind of question that is wide. So it's difficult to use a one size
Mm,
fits all cap for it. But it's just about
but
the
I love you.
determination.
I love where you started it and which actually is a very great way to answer it. Where you said if if your vision is clear, it will drive you. It will keep you during those times when and if you're in so that means in other words, if your vision is not clear, then it's very easy for you to
To be distracted.
be distracted, to be
Mm,
stopped when you should keep going.
definitely.
Thank you. I've collected that nuggets of wisdom. I've put it in my
Mm.
pocket. So tell us how to find you. And again, happy birthday. I wish you all the best for the next 19 years of listening ears and all your other adventures. I saw your beautiful grandson, so I also wish you, that you will have also lots of enjoyment from your family and from the people whose lives you are touching. Can you tell us how
Yeah.
we can um, support you um, in a way that really, really, really that you really, really that's really close to your heart? You want us to support you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, my birthday is this month. So I've decided to use that opportunity to tell, because there are so many people who always tell me they like me and they like what I am doing. And if they really do love me and love what I'm doing, definitely, if it is my birthday, they might be thinking of buying me a present. And I have said I don't want any presents. I just want, instead of that, for people to donate, because for this year we haven't yet got a sponsor for our Christmas party. I wanted to raise funds for the Christmas party. So I put it on my status, I put it on Facebook. We have set up a Just Giving page that whoever is thinking of giving me any birthday present should instead donate to the Just Giving page so that we can be able to give these older people a beautiful Christmas party. So quite
Okay.
a
So
number of people have responded.
anybody watching this, the link will be somewhere around this video, wherever you're watching it. We'll put
Yes,
the
so
link to the
some
Just
people
Giving
have responded
page.
and have given donation. And I'm so grateful for that. But I'm still looking forward to many more. And maybe at another time, if we talk about the other side of me outside of listening ears, because I'm a wellness coach. And when I work with people, I also kind of do some bits of fundraising for my charity through my professional business calling as well. That's
Yeah.
another way people can help, because people can help me in fulfilling that vision. Although it is a business venture, I wouldn't deny, because I would never be in the class of people who will be saying, we are managing. No, God is blessing me. I am happy about it. But to be honest with you, my motivation for that business is not just the money, but the fact that God has blessed me with the knowledge and the experience and the capacity to help people take charge of their wellness.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
want to set a lot of people free in that context, because I run trainings, I run workshops around healthy eating, healthier lifestyle, losing weight, different things. And because a lot of times it really pains me to the heart when I see people work so hard for money and ignorantly, and I say that without disrespect, they keep spending the hard earned money to buy things that will be killing them by installment. If they don't eat right,
Yeah.
don't do
Yeah.
what they are supposed to do, and they are gradually killing themselves. And I have this capacity of the knowledge or the experience and all that to give that to people. So when I'm asking for patronage, that's my business outfit, is called Smart Steps. When I call for patronage, it's not just because I want to make money. For me, my motivation for my business outfit is third John 2, where I know that God wishes above all things that we may prosper and be in good health. So churches invite me to give talks, to give wellness information sessions, groups invite me, and I'm
Okay. So
passionate
that's
about it.
Smart Steps. Smartsteps.co.uk.
Smartsteps.org.uk.
.org.uk.
Yeah, so
We'll
that's
put the
another
link. We'll
way.
put the link
Yeah. That's
everybody to
another way
check that
people
out
can
as
help
well.
me to fulfill my vision. I know in fulfilling it, I'll be making some money, but anybody who knows me knows how I'm passionate about community. Half of whatever I'm making is going on to bless other people's lives, you know. So,
Yes.
so
I
those are
know
the
I know that
can
I
help.
know that for a fact as well. Thank you so much,
Welcome.
Sister Toyin. That is Mrs. Toyin Ogunbanjo of
Yes.
Listening Ears. I'll put all the links around this video. You'll see them. And do check out what she does. Support when you can, especially in this period, this Christmas period where isolation and loneliness is at an all-time high with the weather, a lot of more depression, a lot more. We've actually see a lot of it at this kind of holiday period where people are longing for more connection. So
I
do
even
check out what they do.
yeah.
You were going to say,
Yeah, I even forgot to tell you. That's why I said what we also run a food bank, which will be very handy this Christmas time, because listening ears happen to be the front of the shop charity for Sainsbury's Abbeywood. So the
mm,
shoppers eat non-perishable food items. So we use it in turn to create a food bank in the
food
community.
bank.
So of our testimonies of we were supposed to be the
That's
front.
amazing because I know those in Sainsbury's, you always see those little, well, not little, those box that people put in things, and if you buy like 3 tins of tomatoes as you're passing by, you just say, oh, let me put one in there, and yeah,
Yeah.
people donate.
So we give it out to those who are struggling in the community.
Yeah, yeah. And that really helps to preserve a lot
It's
of
really
people's
helping a
dignity,
lot,
you
particularly
know?
in this hard food crisis time of hardship.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes that's even another story for another day.
Mm.
So days when I'm like, I look at my bank account and I say, oh, I'm broke. For us, we even made it, turn it into a game. Oh, I'm going to look for Too Good To Go. Have you heard of the app Too Good To Go?
No, what else?
There's an app.
What?
There's an app called Too Good To Go, and it's usually restaurants or supermarkets, the close of business, they might have some things that are still fresh, but if they leave it overnight, they will not be able to sell it. So they just
Okay.
pack it they always make like a hamper or something of different things, whatever is there on that day. So in fact, it's so funny. So we 2 days ago we did, or 3 days ago, we did Too Good to Go from Aldi, and we got
Oh,
a bunch of fruits. So today we just bought yogurt and made some smoothies, you know, twice, had our smoothies from this extra, loads of extra fruits. It's always fun to take advantage of those kind of things and food
wow,
bank and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. But yes, we'll get all your details. We'll share everything.
Thank you.
Um, and thank you for honoring my invitation to come
Thank
on
you.
the podcast. I will be in touch with you soon. But please go check out Listening Ears, check out Smart Steps, and everything else, and just generally check out Sister Toyin Ogunbanjo. She's a good person to know. I've known her since 2017 or so. We met somewhere, which is another story. But yes, you know, met somewhere. I remember you called me out. I was telling how when you go home and you tell your friends, it's like I met one woman and this is what she said. This is what she said to me, and it was so spot on. And in fact, if she didn't allow me to, her, in fact, I remember I have to tell this one. I can't remember what I said to you. We met outside, like how you were both in a like a, I think it was a prayer meeting or something. I can't remember. And we both came out. We met in the car park, so we were just chatting and everything, and I said something about I think I'm a storyteller, or I want to be a storyteller, or something to that effect.
Okay.
And you almost scolded me. You were like, if you are a storyteller, say you are a storyteller. Don't be shy about it. Don't. And I was like, this one really, because I was still that kind of very shy, very bashful. This is what, 2017, so almost 8 years ago. She was like, don't be bashful about it. If that is it, own it with your full chest, as they say these days, but
Go
something
for
to
it.
that effect. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it really blessed me. I mean, ever since then, we've been friends. So it's
Thank
really
God.
made sense to have you here on the podcast. Thank you so
Thank God.
much, Sister Toyin.
You're
I
welcome.
will. Yeah, let me
Thank you. Bye bye.